How's your day going? So, are you having a day where you feel like you've got no energy? Are you having a day where you feel frustrated? You feel like you're not really getting anywhere? Like things aren't going your way? You're having bad luck? Are you having any of these kind of feelings? Are you having a day like that? What I would say to you is don't have that kind of day. And you're probably thinking, well, I can't, that's the day I'm having. But let me tell you something. You don't have to have days like that where you have no energy, where you feel like you're getting nowhere, where you feel like everything's against you. Because the reality is, we can have the days that we want. And as daft as that sounds, you can choose your mindset. You can make your body work for yourself. Because if you change what's going on in here, it's going to affect the rest of your body. And the same way as if you sit in a certain way, if you stand a certain way, if you move your body in a certain way, it's going to feed back to your mind. So don't get stuck on days where you feel like it's rubbish and you're not getting anywhere and you've got no energy, people are irritating you. You need to understand why this is happening and why you're having these thoughts. Be conscious of them, but also be aware that you can change them. If people are getting on your nerves, if you're surrounding yourself with people that are negative all the time and people that are just pointing out everything that's wrong, then that's going to suck energy away from yourself if you're not careful. So what you want to do is just be mindful of these kind of people, but not get sucked into it either. Because you will always be looking for, your brain will always be looking for what's wrong, and it will always be able to analyze everything, and it will be able to point out exactly what is not right, or what's a danger, or what's not quite how you would want it or expect it to be. And that's why people become negative or upset or depressed or anxious, because the world is not meeting their expectations, or their mind is convincing them that there is a threat, or is there something that is going to create them pain or unhappiness. Change your thought process to gratitude. Understand what you've got, what you're able to do, what you're able to achieve, what you have to be grateful for, but also set yourself a goal, set yourself something that you actually want, and focus on it and move towards it. If you want to lose some weight, then consciously make an effort to understand how you're going to do that. Understand what you want, why you want it, and then you will drive yourself towards it. Again, if you want a new job, again, you need to focus on what you want and why you want it, and then you will start to make conscious decisions to make that happen. Because that's one thing that your mind is good at, and that's what you need to be using it for. But don't get stuck on the days where it's rubbish and there's not a lot going on, there's not a lot of good. You're waking up in the morning, you're waking up and you've got air in your lungs. You can look outside and you can see if it's a sunny day, you're thinking, do you know what? These are the things which you need to just be aware of. If you've got your health, then ultimately that's paramount to everything. Because if you're not healthy, then it's you need to understand that is something that you need to work on in order to kind of drive forwards, to give yourself that feeling of, because obviously if we're not healthy, then eventually we're going to lose an awful lot more. Than that's when you realize that jobs and things like that are, for me, I work to live, I don't live to work. I want to do what I enjoy, and I want to spend time with my family, because that is what is important, and obviously have my health and things like that. Work and money, they are all just like sub factors. They are just something that we need to do in order to live. But focus on what's going on in your mind, and keep it moving in the right direction. Keep pointing in the right direction. Understand that you have every power to actually make these days something special and make them something that you want them to be. But the problem is, the more we get into this loop and this habit of looking for what's wrong, thinking, oh, I've got to go back to work again. Oh, I've got to do this. Oh, I've got to speak to this client. Oh, I've got to do that today. I've got to run errands. It's like, just understand that these are just part of life, and it's part of something that you might need to do, but there's a bigger game, and this bigger game is going to be what you actually want, and living in happiness rather than living in frustration and sadness and lack of motivation. Because what we need to do is gain discipline, momentum, and drive ourselves in the direction that we want to go. Because if you don't, you're just going to find that you're going to be stuck in this loop. And the problem is, once you get stuck in it, it becomes more difficult to change it, or you need to be then a lot more focused and a lot more motivated to change it. Whereas if we can nip it in the bud early, when, again, you just think, oh, you have a couple of days where you think, oh, this is not great. Understand why. Understand what it is that's making you feel like that. If you're waking up in the morning and immediately thinking about your problems, then again, you're setting that template and foundation for the day. Whereas you need to be getting up in the morning thinking, it's a new day. What do I want to do today? What am I going to make this day? And then again, I do a bit of breath work in the morning because I find that settles me down. It clears my mind, and it just allows me then to feel relaxed, but also to know that I'm doing something that's good for my body. I'm getting oxygen into my body, so I know it's good for me. But at the same time, it then gives me mental clarity to sit down and think, right, so this is the work I've got to do today. This is what I've got to do. But again, it's about just doing what's right for you. But I believe it's so important to have a good diet, to be mobile, but also I think it's about mental strength. I think that is something that is really important to me, is people understanding that they do have mental strength, and everybody has it. It's just about unlocking it, because again, sometimes you get people that are freaking out and just kind of getting really down about trivial matters and things that really, in the grand scheme of things, aren't important. But it's about making them understand that and making them kind of see the bigger picture, and just understanding that, no, do you know what? We are actually able to control what goes on in our heads, and that feeds through to the rest of our body. But yeah, it's one of them. But have a great day. Like I said, just be mindful that you're not relying on luck. You're not relying on anything like that. If you have the right kind of thoughts, you make the right actions, you will then have the right kind of emotions, and then you'll make the right choices moving forwards. And you'll naturally, in that instance, doing those things, you will put yourself in a better position to be whatever you want to be and to be successful, because you are changing the probability of success for you, because ultimately you're making different decisions. So just be mindful, thoughts that you have, actions that you take, and then it's going to feed on from there, because you're going to be in a better frame of mind. You're going to put yourself in a better position naturally. So therefore, you don't even have to worry about luck or anything like that, or things will start to happen which you might think are good luck, but it's a case of ultimately these are of your own design. So it's a case of the thoughts that you have, and they will feed into better actions, better emotions, and then just a better outcome altogether. So just something worth thinking about. But ultimately, the moral of this is have a great day, and have a day that you want it to be.